clever intro joke, but I'm not a clever person, so I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you about Nameless. Nameless is a game by Korean developer Cheritz, the same guys who made Dandelion. I bought both games at the same time, but since Nameless was supposed to be darker and more mature, I decided to play that one first. So, with that said, let's get started talking about the creepy doll dating sim. In Nameless, you play as Eri, a shy high schooler who's been living on her own since her grandfather passed away. She's an introspective introvert, and there's a deep, dark secret that no one else can ever know about her. Eri likes dolls. Specifically, Asian ball-jointed dolls. Elegantly crafted, posable, dressable, androgynous figurines that each cost about as much as a decent used car. Her collection consists of 5 dolls, each of which has their own unique design concept, and all of which she received under fairly unusual circumstances. One night, she awakens to find her dolls have transformed into handsome young men, all of whom remember their time as inanimate toys. The boys all end up enrolled at Eri's school, because of course they do, and now she has to find a way to balance her life as a student, her relationship with the boys, and the creepy monochrome nightmares that in no way hint at a deeper, darker story.
Characters Romance.
Lance. Designed as a highly customizable blank slate doll, he's naturally a personality-free stick in the mud whose hobbies include studying for tests, lording over the student council, and cock-blocking any of the boys who try to make a pass at you. Surprisingly enough, Lance knows he's as bland as microwave chicken breast and actually feels kinda bad about it. His route's all about his quest to evolve beyond his fill-in-the-blanks character concept and become a real boy. You know as an ickle-whittle baby-waby in shitty Red Riding Hood cosplay. Designed to be the cutest of the cute, he follows you around like a 3-legged puppy, calling you Master, because he wubs you this much. Maybe a little too much, to be perfectly honest. In fact, his doe-eyed dependence on you may just be the result of some serious personal trauma, and trying to ignore his pleas for attention might not be the best idea. Yuri, flaming metrosexual and consummate ladies' man, he was designed to fulfill that classic, I could have any woman I want, but of course I'll settle for you kind of fantasy. While these kinds of characters usually annoy the hell out of me, Yuri is genuinely likable, and is probably the most emotionally stable member of the gang. Sure, he's got some issues, but compared to the other guys, he's freaking Spock. Tay, a limited edition doll, designed as a kindly older brother, Tay's the de facto leader of the dolls. It's his job to keep all the other guys in line, and to make sure everyone is happy. Tay's a perfect student, a perfect friend, and a perfect lover. Tay is kind, selfless, and knows Tay's own needs are insignificant in the face of everyone else's happiness. Tay cares about you more deeply and sincerely than any of the other guys ever could. Tay would never, ever do anything to hurt you. Tay knows what's best for you.
Can't you understand that?
Red's your token hyperactive goofball. Designed as a more masculine doll, his concept was so unpopular with focus groups that he was the only Red ever produced. He's a child at heart, obsessed with the idea of white knights and superheroes and saving the girl from a big evil villain. He's pretty much a non-character in every other guy's route, but in his own, you learn just how much of a sweetheart he really is. Despite the fact that his outfit is the stupidest. I mean, seriously, what is that? Is that half a flannel shirt? Did you get in a fight with a 90s grunge band? There's also a really creepy doctor who's obsessed with bones and skeletons, and of course he's not dateable. And we can't be failing the Bechdel test either here, so naturally you have 2 best friends, Boobs and Butch. Boobs is a flighty but kind-hearted girl who also happens to be the thirstiest woman in existence. Butch is a taciturn fashion model whose main purposes here are to make sure Boobs doesn't get arrested for sexual harassment, and tend to make me really wish for more Yuri romance options in Otome games. Okay, no matter how straight you are, tell me you wouldn't hit that. Soy and Shinbi actually do have deeper personalities, but you're not going to find that out until at least your third or fourth playthrough, which is a serious issue with this game overall. But I'm going to take a cue from Nameless here and leave you hanging for a little while longer. It's difficult to talk about Eri herself because, much like Lance, she's pretty damn milquetoast. The game actually does eventually go on to explain that her parents are effectively work-obsessed absentees, and her mother is a passive-aggressive cunt from hell, and because of this she's incredibly self-effacing and insecure, and feels like she needs to hide her real self or else she'll be abandoned. She's also painfully sentimental and treated all her dolls with immense kindness, even before she knew they had souls. Other than that, I'm not really sure what else to say about her that wouldn't be heading into major spoiler territory. This game loves to hold back information for as long as it possibly can, so mentioning anything significant would be kind of spoilery. But we'll talk about that unfortunate tendency later. Oh, hell are we going to talk about it.
Presentation.
Nameless's art style is this weird digital watercolor look that makes everything look soft and shiny, and oh god, I just want to lick this game all over. The way the menus are styled and the use of animations for falling snow or rain, it's just so beautiful and appealing. I mean, come on, just look at everyone's eyes and their hair and the creases in their clothes. Their weird clothes. The school uniform is especially badass looking. Those silver jackets are just yes! The music's The game opens with an incredibly eerie piece that blends traditional Eastern folk music with techno, and it immediately grabs your attention. After that, though, it's pretty much your standard fare. Mellow jazz at the cafe, peppy generic for the school segments, etc. Really, the best I can say about the music is that it's inoffensive. However, presentation-wise, this game does have one very big issue, and that's the text. Dear lord, the typos. Missed capitalization, misspellings, random punctuation, and the thing is, I'm really not a grammar Nazi. A lot of the games I've reviewed already have had a handful of very noticeable typos, but I didn't bother to mention it because really, who cares? But I'm not kidding when I say that I've seen fan-translated Otoge with better QC than Nameless. Minor characters' names are often still written in Hangul. Many of the dialogue choices don't even fit in the choice boxes. It's so unbelievably sloppy and rushed that it's really distracting at times. And the unlockables are worst of all. Entire chunks of character diaries appear to be written in some of the most bizarre English I've ever seen, and the free talk interviews with the game's voice actors are completely unsubtitled. Hope you speak Korean, because if not, yeah.
Gameplay.
Gameplay-wise, Nameless is just a straight visual novel apart from 2 short minigames. About 2/3 of the way through each route, you'll have to take the dreaded exams, which consist of 10 true-false questions about the game, the developer, or random trivia. Yes, whales are mammals. By the way, remember to quick save before taking these tests, as sometimes the game will ask you things that are only revealed after multiple playthroughs, and every good ending requires you to get at least a 9 out of 10. The other minigame is Yano's Fortune Telling, which is just a game of concentration that gives you way more time than you could possibly ever need. Unless you happen to have short-term memory issues. So, the mini-games are just kind of fluff. Hell, I totally forgot they were even there until Pathos reminded me that I should write something about them. Dank memes. Now, as for the game's structure itself, Nameless appears to follow that standard visual novel formula. 5 tangentially related stories linked by a single premise. But here's the thing. Not all of the routes are initially available. See, the designers envision Nameless as more of a singular experience, so they force you to play the routes in a particular order. Lance, Yano, and Yuri's routes together form the common route, where you must go full Renai Stalker mode and devote yourself solely to a single guy, or else you'll get a bad ending at the end of Chapter 3. I had to start over 3 fucking times, because getting even a single affection point for a character other than the one you're pursuing results in a big purple pile of eat shit kid. Once you complete one of the first 3 routes, that unlocks Tay's route. But unless you've played all of the first 3, Tay's route completely comes out of left field. And Red's route stays locked until you've done all of the other 4. So hopefully Red wasn't the only guy you were interested in, because if so, fuck you. Speaking of fuck you, the sheer multitude of bad ends leaves literally 0 room for error, because deviating even a hair from the developer's vision leads to a sudden slap-in-the-face game over, since later routes call back to completely random choices that would be otherwise totally unimportant. So, when you're taking a snack home from the coffee shop, do you get tea leaves, cake, or just tea? Well, in Lance's route, the fact that he likes lemon tea shows he's capable of having a quirk. So not getting him the tea means you're missing out on a vital plot point, and if you didn't instinctually figure that out, bad end. Also, sneaking out of the house in the middle of the night is apparently much smarter than inviting a dude to go with you, because if you do decide to be honest with your dude, bad end. Long story short, save often, save in several spots, and for fuck's sake, use a walkthrough.
Final thoughts.
I understand what the writers were trying to do with some routes building off of others, but making everything so restrictive just goes against everything that's great about visual novels. It feels like they wanted so badly to preserve their ideal story that they cut off all agency. And visual novels are about choices. Really, that's all visual novels have. Without choices, a visual novel is just, well, a novel. And the story of Nameless is both its biggest strength and its greatest weakness. Much like Heartful Boyfriend, there are 2 games here. There's the standard Otome pick your guy and go nuts game, and an overarching metagame which is much longer and more involved. Completing each of the routes gives you a different piece of a heart on the menu screen, and collecting them all unlocks a big finale where everything finally comes together and it is goddamned amazing! If you don't quit the game out of boredom before then. See, unlike Heartful Boyfriend, where the individual routes are short, funny, and engaging, in Nameless, the individual routes are 3 hours long, depressing, and largely dealing with stupid high school shit that has nothing to do with any of the guys or the overarching plot. Don't get me wrong, dealing with the boys themselves is great. See, you discover that the dolls were sentient long before they came to life, and the way they were treated as inanimate objects has shaped their personalities. For example, one doll was used as an impromptu punching bag, and his behavior reflects that in a way that feels real and genuine and honestly heartbreaking. There are these brilliantly handled themes of trauma and abuse and the way other people's expectations shape our lives. There are these little 5-minute chunks where you get snippets of plot and something sinister and the boys' various psychoses, and it's like, yes, this is good. Where are they gonna go with it? They're going to fucking school, that's where. Because clearly the school play is so much more interesting than whether these guys love you or if they want to kill you or even how the fuck they became people in the first place. When Nameless is at its best, it's one of the best visual novel stories I've ever experienced, but those perfect moments make up maybe 10% of a route. In between the moments of supernatural mystery, the tense romance, the weird psychological horror stuff, you'll either be listening to Boobs talk about her boner, being threatened by some psycho-jealous fangirl, or replaying a scene you've seen 3 fucking times because you're in a different route now and the dialogue is ever so slightly different. So fuck you, no skipsies! Seriously, my final playtime for this game was 18 hours. 18! And 3/4 of those 18 hours was mindless, petty, boring filler bullshit. Every time you reach a critical moment, every time a boy hints at his feelings or shows some hidden dark side, it just cuts off because, well, the next day I went to school and hoo boy, you would not believe how many catty mean girls tried to push me down the stairs. Maybe I should go get some coffee. Frowny face. So, how do I feel about Nameless? Conflicted. The art is breathtaking. The boys are amazing. The premise is explored in all kinds of awesome, original ways. But to experience that, you'll have to sit through 12 hours of filler. I think when it comes to this game, the question is, are you willing to suffer for the one you love? Is beauty alone enough to keep you going through all the pain and misery? Is your love strong enough to endure even when the object of your affections is so damn flawed and so misguided? Why are you doing this to me? Can't you see how much I love you? Come here, sweetie. I'm sorry. I love you. Well, the 3rd episode's out, and you know what that means. Clicky stuff! If you haven't seen the Sweet Fuse or Heartful Boyfriend videos, go ahead and watch them. And if you have seen everything, yay! And if you like this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.